If you grew up in New Zealand, there's a good chance a Fisher and Paykel appliance was in your home. The fridge in the kitchen, the washing machine in the laundry, maybe even the world's first drawer-style dishwasher. But here's what most Kiwis don't know. The company that defined New Zealand engineering for 80 years was quietly sold to China in 2012. And the story of how it happened reveals everything about what happens when local innovation meets global capitalism. Fisher & Paykel wasn't just an appliance brand. It was proof that New Zealand could engineer products that competed with the world's best. Founded in 1934 in Auckland by Maurice Paykel and his brother-in-law Woolf Fisher, the company began by importing refrigerators and washing machines when household appliances were still luxury items. But importing wasn't enough. By the 1950s, Fisher & Paykel was designing appliances specifically for New Zealand homes. In 1953, they introduced the country's first slimline washing machine, engineered to fit the smaller houses that defined Kiwi living. 4 years later, they produced New Zealand's first fully automatic washing machine. These weren't just incremental improvements, they marked the beginning of Fisher & Paykel's reputation for solving real problems with practical innovation. While global manufacturers built one-size-fits-all appliances, Fisher & Paykel understood that New Zealand homes were different. Manufacturing expanded across Auckland and Dunedin. The company became one of New Zealand's most recognisable industrial names, exporting products internationally and building a reputation for reliable, thoughtfully engineered appliances that worked in real homes. But one product would change everything. In 1997, Fisher & Paykel launched the dish drawer. Instead of the traditional drop-down door, this dishwasher was built in a pull-out drawer format. Users could run smaller loads independently at bench height. It was unconventional, but it solved real problems. The dish drawer became a global bestseller and remains one of the most recognized appliance innovations of the past 30 years. It proved that a company from the bottom of the world could out-innovate giants like Whirlpool and Bosch. Success brought challenges. Fisher & Paykel developed advanced technology like the ActiveSmart refrigeration system, which used adaptive cooling to respond to usage patterns. They expanded into premium cooking appliances, steam ovens, and integrated refrigeration systems. By the early 2000s, Fisher & Paykel products were sold in over 40 countries, winning international design awards. For a company from a country of 4 million people, this was extraordinary, but global success came with global pressures. The 2008 financial crisis intensified these challenges. Consumer spending dropped, credit became expensive. The human cost became clear through factory closures and job losses. The 2008 crisis forced Fisher & Paykel to close multiple plants. Other sites relocated to Thailand, cutting hundreds more positions. Nearly 1,000 jobs disappeared globally as the company struggled to remain competitive. By 2010, independence was becoming unsustainable. The company needed a partner with deep pockets and global reach. The solution came from China. In 2012, Haier Group acquired Fisher & Paykel appliances for approximately $1 billion New Zealand dollars. The acquisition marked a seismic shift from a New Zealand company to a subsidiary of a Chinese corporation. The sale wasn't dramatic. There was no bankruptcy or corporate scandal. Instead, it reflected global business reality. Iconic national brands become part of multinational structures to survive. But the closures continued after the Chinese takeover. In 2016, Fisher & Paykel closed its East Tāmaki refrigeration factory in Auckland, eliminating 186 jobs and ending complete appliance manufacturing in New Zealand. The company cited lack of scale and cost competitiveness, the same pressures that had driven the sale to Haier.
Why does this factory have to close?
Well, we've managed to stave off a closure now for many years, but the fact is that in the global market, we really need to make this decision now, difficult decision, and it is no longer sustainable and it has to be closed.
But the Fisher & Paykel brand didn't disappear. Under Haier's ownership, the company continued operating as a distinct premium brand. It maintained headquarters functions in New Zealand, along with research and development operations. Manufacturing continued in Auckland, particularly for high-end products, including refrigerators, washing machines, and dish drawer models. However, strategic direction now ultimately sits within Haier's broader corporate structure. As of 2025, Many products still carry Made in New Zealand labelling, particularly in higher end ranges. The innovation model remains central: modular design, integrated systems, adaptive technologies. Today, Fisher & Paykel operates globally under Chinese ownership. Products are sold worldwide under the Fisher & Paykel name, while the company supplies components to other brands within Haier's network. Fisher & Paykel's story isn't unique. It's how local champions navigate global markets, how innovation alone isn't enough to maintain independence, and how national pride adapts to economic reality. The company that started in a 1934 Auckland workshop now operates as part of a Chinese multinational. The dish drawer that made New Zealand famous is still manufactured, but the profits flow to Shanghai, not Auckland. And it raises the question, can any country truly keep its industrial champions at home? So what do you think? Does New Zealand business owners truly own anything anymore? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, stay curious.